Welcome back to the Bryan Devore Connection. I'm your host, Bryan Devore. How can we age independently successfully? Well, there's a wonderful business model taking place right now in the city of El Cajon with an independent senior living community combined with a home care company. So with me today are two of my favorite people to talk about that business model. We have Jennifer Booth with Solstice Senior Living and Melanie Delgado with Right at Home. Thank you guys for coming today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bryan.
Yeah, so I loved this model when I first encountered it when I helped a client move into Solstice, and I was fascinated. I'm like, we got to talk about this on camera. So first, Jennifer, tell us a little bit about Solstice.
So Solstice is an independent community in El Cajon, meaning all of our residents that live there can live independently in their own individual apartment. And about a little over 2 years ago, we started to see our residents, of course, aging. And as they aged, they started to need assistance with things like showering, incontinence, just activities of daily living. So rather than having to leave the community, which they love and they love their friends and their independence, we entered into a partnership with Melanie's company, Right at Home, and it's worked out beautifully.
Great. So, Melanie, I want to talk to you about what you guys do in just a second, but just to clarify for Solstice, so you provide independent living, so people get their 3 meals a day,
Correct.
access to laundry, so they're living like their own apartment, but they're getting the activities that go on, social activities. It's a good option for people who may not want to take care of their homes anymore.
Exactly.
Maybe want to downsize and live a simpler life, but if they are, as they're aging, they might need more care. There comes Right at Home. So Melanie, tell us about Right at Home.
Thank you, Bryan, for having us here. So Right at Home, we are an in-home, non-medical home care. And our mission is to improve the lives of those that we serve. So with the independent community, we have, when we entered into this model with Solstice, our goal is to help our clients, whether at Solstice or at home, live as independently as possible. And as we started having more discussions with Solstice, it became very clear that you can help people live in an independent home, in an independent living community, quite a bit for quite a long time, if they have the right, if they have the right support systems around them. So we work to build a model very different from home care, in the sense of if we're going out to individual homes, we have a minimum to send a caregiver out. The model that we built at Solstice, and we have an office there and we have dedicated staff that's there, allow us to not have the minimums with each one of the clients, allows us to break up and have touch points all throughout the day, which better serves the independent living community. So for instance, an example, we can go first thing in the morning, help somebody get up and get out of bed, make sure that they take their meds, quick 15 or 30-minute visit, make sure that they're ready, that they can come down and have their breakfast there at Solstice, and then maybe in the afternoon they have some meds that they need to take. So we just pop back in to say, hey, Mrs. Jones, how you doing? Did you take your meds this afternoon as well? Make sure that those are being taken. And then maybe at night they need to have night meds and also have that extra help getting back into bed. If you look at the senior community and the decline, where they're going to struggle a bit is helping, getting themselves dressed, making sure they're taking their meds on time.
The activities of daily living, as they call them.
Correct. Mm-hmm. Making sure that, although they might be able to take a shower on their own, they're a little bit unsteady, and getting back into bed. So things like that where they might be a little bit unsteady and just need a little bit more support, because what you want to do is make sure that they're not going to fall, right? They're not going to have that fall, and keep them, as steady as possible, so they're not going to have those incidents that might send them to the hospital or the need to have to go to assisted living. The other thing this does provide for us and for our clients there at Solstice and for Solstice is if they do have an issue that they have to go to the hospital and maybe need to go to a skilled nursing facility, we follow them. So we understand why they needed to go to the hospital, what happened, where are they at, where were they moved to the skilled nursing, and then keeping tabs of them with their team at skilled nursing for when it's time for them to come back home, so that we know where they're at in their plan of care and get them back into the community safe. And maybe they need a few extra visits than they were having before, just to make sure we can get them back into the community safe and they're reacclimated back into the routine. And then we can back off the care, so we can kind of surge it and bring it back down without it being significantly expensive to the client.
Right. So in my experience in working with seniors who are moving into different kind of communities, there's independent living, there's assisted living, you have memory care down the line, and you really only had those options. But now with this type of business model, people can move in independently. They probably move in younger than they normally would if they're going to assisted living. They get to develop the friendships, like you said.
Yes.
And I've been to your community and I've seen the camaraderie. I've seen the committee meetings that they have and so forth. So it's a very vibrant community for them. But then as they transition into needing more care, it's right there, it's built in. I like that you don't have the minimum hours. We talked on the phone about things like doing laundry and other things that they can get the assistance with. Jennifer, how has this benefited, have you seen this benefit people in your community? Do you have examples of some of the successes you've had?
I do. So the successes that come to mind, there's two different variations. There's a new referral that'll come to me when they're actually in a skilled nursing facility and getting ready to discharge. And they're very much wanting to live independently, but the medical community doesn't really understand our model as much, or they don't know of it. So they're usually pushing assisted living on somebody who really has a chance to still live independently. And that's where I will bring Melanie and her team in. And in the beginning, as Melanie said, it'll be a surge of services that can be weaned off, and then that person can live with us successfully. I have a lady that comes to mind that Melanie's team assisted for about 2 months, and then slowly weaned her off coming out of a skilled nursing facility. And now she, attends all of our activities. She's very, thankful and vibrant, and just one of our most popular residents.
So she just needed that right from the beginning to kind of get her going in the right direction.
Yes, and let me just say, it's not always appropriate. So, we're not pushing people who can't do it, but we're making it available to people who can and who very much want to live independently. And then the other success story is really just residents that live there currently I have 6 residents that are over 100.
Wow.
3 of them are, 2 are 102, 1 is 103. Certainly, they love our community and we love them. We don't want them to have to leave, and they just need a little assistance, standby shower assistance, help getting dressed possibly, and medication reminders. And then, the goal is to age in place and hopefully live there forever.
Yeah. I know that change is very difficult for a lot of seniors.
Yes.
They don't want a lot of change. And the ones that I work with who are moving maybe to a senior community, they've been living in their home for 30, 40 years. That's a huge change.
Yes.
And then to move into a community and then be told maybe a couple years later, okay, it's no longer appropriate for you to be here. You need more assistance. So we're now going to have you move to an assisted living.
Right.
Maybe it's the same community, maybe a different community. They don't have to worry about that in your case. So again, this is a wonderful model of allowing people to live independently, successfully in their own home.
Yes.
In your community.
Yeah, and kind of on their own terms, because people ask us, well, what are your rates? And I said, we really we work with each family and each client, and we build a package, a service around them of what their needs are now, what are your goals, what are you looking for. Solstice also has, access to therapy in their building. So if they're appropriate of, hey, they just need to get stronger, let's work with the therapist that's in the building so that we can all work together as a team to get them stronger to meet the goals that they are wishing to meet.
Yeah.
So, you know, it doesn't, and we tell the families all the time, it doesn't hurt our feelings for you to come off our services.
Yeah.
Right? So we're there to help you get to reach your goals. And if you need to come off the services, that's fine. And we do find that we have clients that kind of come on and off services as needed. You know, they have a temporary situation now. We help them out with that. They come off the services. Now they had to go have another procedure at the hospital, and the families call us and say, hey, we just need a little bit of support for a couple of months. Can you do that? And we put them right back on the schedule and help them through that to get them to be stronger and healthier and continue to be vibrant through the community.
Yeah.
And then we'll back off again. So it's really, it's a relationship together. I mean, we all have to work together and understand the goals of the community, the goals of the client, what are we trying to do, and to help, you know, everybody have that top of mind to help them be as successful as possible.
Yeah, that's fantastic. It's a wonderful model. So for those of you who are watching the video, we have information on screen for Solstice and for Right at Home. If you are listening to this on Spotify or your favorite podcast channel, then you'll see the information in the caption. But all the information is there. Melanie's company, of course, can help with in-home care, and then in this wonderful model with Solstice as well. Both, thank you very much for coming in and telling us about this fantastic model.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for having us.